In the city of Cyprus around 300 BC, there was a wealthy trader named Zeno. One day, during a voyage from Phoenicia to Piraeus, his boat sank, taking all his cargo with it. This event, entirely beyond Zeno's or anyone's control, instantly turned a very wealthy man into a poor one. Imagine being in Zeno's shoes. How would you feel if your entire life's work was wiped out in an instant by a natural disaster? What would be the appropriate reaction? Would you be angry, sad, or feel like life had cheated you? For most of us, these would be normal reactions, but not for Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. One small change can last forever, and a slight shift in your mindset can lead to significant and impactful changes down the line. The essence of Stoicism is acceptance and indifference. After reading the works of Socrates and other great philosophers, Zeno developed and taught Stoicism. According to him, while we don't have much control over what happens to us, we do have control over how we let it affect us, and we must use this control to our advantage. Instead of lamenting over spilled milk, or in Zeno's case, lost cargo, he focused on maintaining his composure, staying calm and neutral despite his misfortune. Today, people often see Stoics as unbreakable individuals who don't experience extreme emotions like fits of rage or bouts of anxiety. But Stoicism originally meant much more than just being unemotional. It was a way to view, understand, and describe the world. It was a way of life, a philosophy that has endured for centuries. The principles of Stoicism can be applied to situations today, just as they were thousands of years ago, and their benefits remain just as impactful. Stoicism helps us process negative emotions from adverse experiences and transform them into thoughts that provide us with a unique perspective of the world. Perspective is everything, and since everyone has different experiences, everyone has different perspectives. The Stoics gathered, discussed, and taught philosophy in public places, making their philosophy widely known. They believed Stoic principles could benefit anyone and everyone, so it didn't make sense to hide that knowledge behind the walls of a school or palace courtyards. As a result, people from all walks of life, from slaves to emperors, could learn and become Stoics, and many did. Some of the most notable Stoics include Epictetus, whose name means acquired since he was once a slave, Seneca, a renowned statesman, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the most powerful men ever. The early Stoics practiced what they preached, avoiding all forms of segregation and leading the fight against inequality. They even coined the term cosmopolitan, which means citizen of the world. When we hear this word today, we think of cities like New York, Toronto, Dubai, and London, because of their diversity. This was the kind of unity and togetherness the Stoics advocated. At the time of Stoicism's foundation, women weren't allowed to pursue philosophy. The Stoics completely disagreed with this. Musonius Rufus, Epictetus's teacher, once said, "It is not men alone who possess eagerness and a natural inclination towards virtue, but women also. Women are pleased no less than men by noble and just deeds, and reject the opposite of such actions. Since that is so, why is it appropriate for men to seek out and examine how they might live well, that is, to practice philosophy, but not women?" Even when it wasn't popular, women were allowed to learn about Stoicism and become Stoics themselves. So, why do so many people adopt Stoicism as a way of life? In a world full of unexpected turns of events, our emotions can often get in the way. We don't get sad because bad things happen to us. We get sad because unexpected bad things happen to us. Rain, for example, is beneficial. It waters our plants, provides water for livestock, and keeps the temperature cool and humid. But if a dark cloud catches you outside without an umbrella, it's never a good experience. We don't cry when it starts to rain because, although it's unpleasant, we've learned to expect it. We know it's unavoidable and beyond our control. The rain passes, and the sun returns. Stoicism teaches us to expect that everything bad that can happen will happen. Picture the worst outcome, and be content knowing it could happen. One Stoic exercise is called Voluntary Discomfort, aimed at increasing feelings of gratitude. Sleep on your kitchen floor. Take cold showers instead of hot ones. Eat only potatoes for a few days. These exercises help you understand that no matter how tough things get, you'll survive and potentially thrive if your mindset is right. By enduring uncomfortable situations, we indirectly prepare our minds for future misfortunes. In today's world, where advertisements constantly bombard us, we're led to believe that if we don't have the latest gadgets, look a certain way, or make a certain amount of money, we'll never be happy. This message is more important now than ever. We enter the world not knowing much of anything. We grow up learning things at home, in school, and by observing the world around us. Often these sources teach us in different ways. The question is, do we need to internalize all this knowledge? If we do, we might set unrealistic expectations for our lives, leaving us disappointed and unsatisfied. That's no way to live. We should focus on improving ourselves for ourselves, doing things for our benefit without external expectations. We often try to fill emptiness with external things, like buying a fancy car, a house, or starting a family. Sometimes we do these things for their external value rather than their internal value. But Stoicism teaches that if you approach life this way, you place your happiness in the hands of external forces, which can always fail. Cars break down, natural disasters destroy cities, and divorce rates rise every year. Even free things in life come at a cost, the cost of space, both physical and mental. As Seneca once wrote, learning to live with less will create space in your life for the things that truly matter to you. Instead, we must place our happiness on our intrinsic value as humans, not on what we have or can physically acquire. We should strive to keep a cool head regardless of what life throws at us, because no matter what we want, we don't control most of what happens to us, but we do have complete control over how we react. This is the dichotomy of control, the most important principle in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus said, "The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters, so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control." Stoics teach that we must learn to separate what we can control from what we cannot. We need to derive our value from what we can control, not from what we can't. Striving towards goals is good, but breaking down when things don't go your way is, from a Stoic perspective, useless. Making YouTube videos is much easier than being a Roman emperor, but it can still be challenging. First, you must come up with an idea, which takes time. Then research it. Scrap it if it's not good. Start over. Script the video. Create it. Edit it. Make the thumbnail and title. And then finally hit upload. Up until you hit upload, everything is in your control. But once you upload, the YouTube algorithm takes over. Many people judge the success of their YouTube channel based on views and subscribers, which are mostly beyond their control. Stoics teach that you should instead judge the success of your work based on the effort you put in, not the outcome. Trust the process. Living with less means freeing yourself from societal expectations you've imposed on yourself. Think of someone who has worked hard at their job for 6 months and feels they deserve a promotion. They approach their boss with their performance report, but the boss doesn't grant the promotion. They go home feeling they must be bad at their job. They don't consider the boss might have been in a bad mood, someone else might have been better qualified, or the company might be losing money. They don't know the reason, but they're still upset. If they valued the quality of their performance report and continued working towards their promotion, they would be much happier. With the right perspective, their goal wouldn't be diminished, just postponed. Reframing your mindset is crucial. A true Stoic doesn't measure success by financial gain, but finds comfort in knowing they can live a comfortable life without material possessions. Stoicism is built on 4 main virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom involves distinguishing between what is internal and external, and choosing our reactions to events. Viktor Frankl said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." Courage can be summed up in 2 words: persist and resist. Temperance, or moderation, involves doing more with less, saying more with fewer words. While billionaires compete for wealth, Stoics believe the limit of wealth should be having what is essential and enough. Justice is the most important virtue, instructing that no one should harm another, because we were all born to do good to each other. Nelson Mandela, one of the most famous African leaders, spent 27 years in prison before being released and elected president of South Africa. Many expected him to seek revenge, but he didn't. Instead, he advocated for reconciliation and rebuilding, a lesson he learned from studying Marcus Aurelius and Stoicism. He emphasized that the past was beyond control, and the focus should be on moving forward and building a better future. This is the Stoic way. In modern medicine, Stoicism is the foundation of rational emotive behavioral therapy, REBT, and logotherapy. REBT helps patients identify and challenge negative thought patterns, replacing them with healthier beliefs. Logotherapy, based on Stoic principles, posits that humans are driven by purpose. Even in the darkest times, finding purpose can fill our lives with meaning and happiness. It's a process that requires changing our way of thinking. To fix our happiness problems, we need to practice self-worth. By focusing on what we can control, we can stop worrying about what we can't, leading to a happier and more content life. Stoicism can help us navigate life's storms and find our way to calmer waters. And if our ship sinks, we can take peace in knowing we lived a good life, regardless of its length. Remember, everything has an end.